Guys, we're doing strut assemblies on a 2006 Saturn Ion. First thing I'm going to start off with is taking this here nut off. 18 millimeter on this one. Now we're going to get her lifted up. All right. Wheels off. We got an 18 millimeter on the strut where it mounts to the steering knuckle. We got a 19 millimeter on the sway bar link. That's the first thing we're going to take off. Pretty rusty, it might not come off. Ooh, it did. That's beautiful. Alright, now if that sway bar just keeps spinning in there, what you're going to want to do is put a 7 millimeter in the sway bar. There's a little slot for it. If it has it on yours, hopefully it does. And you can use a ratchet to spin that while you have a wrench on the nut. And that's one way to get it off. Now this link does not want to come out. I put the nut back on just a little ways. Gave it a few taps. There we go. Had pressure from the strut because I already took the nut off on the top. Now we got our 18 millimeter on the bolts holding it to the steering knuckle. Zip both of them off. I believe these are pressed in. We're going to put the nuts back on until they're flush with the bolt end there. Because they're pressed into the steering knuckle. It gets those little presses out. Don't want to hurt the threads, that's why I'm putting the nut on loosely. Now you'll find the steering knuckle is corroded to the strut a lot of times. There you go, you got your strut out. Here's the cap that goes on the strut. That can be taken off without the strut blowing apart. If you're just changing the strut, you're going to want some coil spring compressors, but Rock Auto has these struts for like 70 bucks a piece, fully assembled. That's the way to go. Of course, you can buy the higher quality ones, which is always better. These are inverted Torx on the top of there. My new strut comes with the cap and the nut, but not new bolts for some reason. I don't really want to reuse these. So, let me see what I got. So here's our new cap. There's the new strut. So I want to get some new bolts in the top of there. I don't know why it didn't come with hardware. Oh, wait a minute. Right here on the bottom, guys, we got new hardware. Alright, so I'm going to tighten down that cap to this, and I'll be right back. Alright, we got that mount on the top of the strut all tightened down. This is easier with two people. You got this pin. It's got to line up with the hole in the top there. So you got your nut off. Then you're going to want to spin your strut so it lines up with the steering knuckle. Now I need something to step on. We got our new nut. Line that back up in there where it goes. Get that nut started. There we go. Started. Now we got to raise the control arm up to the strut. This one's going in really smooth. I like it. I'm going to use a 3/8 extender. Stick it in place. Maybe a quarter inch extender. These holes are kind of small. Get in place. Use a screwdriver to help line it up. We got that extender in the bottom hole to kind of keep it straight enough. Go. There's one bolt in. Look through the hole and see where you need to go. Start that bolt in. As you tighten these nuts, the bolts will press into their slots. Let's see if this sway bar link will actually tighten down without spinning a ton. And it actually did tighten down. No troubles with this one. Most of the time those are going to spin. And we're all put together. One of the easiest struts to do. Just going to tighten down the bolt up top and throw the wheel back on. Super easy struts. Get the assembled ones, and it just makes so much less work. Makes sense. You get new coil springs, new mount with it. All right, y'all have a good one. Struts are assembled. There's that hole I was talking about in the sway bar link. If yours just spins 7mm Allen, put a wrench on the nut, spin it with a ratchet to get it to come off or tighten down.